Good morning. 6:30 on Friday morning. Later today, we'll be starting our trek to the mountains. I met several of the other hikers last night at the hotel, and then we walked over to a local restaurant. We had dinner. It was interesting. We learned a little bit about each other. It's a interesting group. The majority of them are probably my age or a little slightly older. There's only one other gentleman I think that might be younger than me. Most of the other people around the same age. So should be interesting group. Seems nothing right away glared out to me that we're gonna have conflict or anything, but I'm sure everyone was on their best behavior. And after several days on the trail, spending close quarters to everyone, as well as some challenges, that may change. We'll see, but I don't suspect that. Looking forward to meeting our guides later and the rest of the group. Some people were arriving late. Other than that, really went probably pretty fast. I thought we'd actually spend more time together, and I was a little surprised how fast we basically just ate and left. I'm still on East Coast time, so I woke up at 4:17 this morning, despite going to bed at 9 o'clock here. So, and I had a pretty restless sleep. I kept waking up. I woke up at 2 and tried to stay asleep, and then at 4 something, it was basically useless to try to keep sleep longer. So that's a recap of yesterday. One of the gentlemen did have the picture taken. I'll try to include that, and we'll go forward. I'll film a little later more of what's going on as we travel. Good morning. It's Friday morning. I just came back. I had some breakfast. I did a little recap of last night's meeting with the group outside. I wanted to get outside and enjoy. They have these two magnificent magnolia trees out front, and I filmed it right there. Just wanted to capture some of my thoughts going forward. Obviously, I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm apprehensive, and there's many reasons for that. As always, I know the last 3 to 4 weeks I have not trained. Physically, I don't feel I'm there. I feel I've gained some weight over the last couple of weeks. I'm carrying around a little extra pounds that I shouldn't be. I'm hoping to lose those on the trail, but those are, of course, painful pounds to lose. The biggest thing and the unknown for me is the altitude, how I'm going to react to the high altitudes. I've never been as high as we're going and doing any physical activity, and I really don't have a chance to acclimate because pretty much tomorrow we'll start hiking. We'll be around the 7,275 to 8,000, maybe as high as 9. I'm not sure. I have to look again. I do have the itinerary for each day. I will be checking it. It was interesting to meet the group. I'm wondering how we're going to get along. I think some of the people will obviously bond very well and get along. Coming there and not knowing anyone, as I think most of the people are, there'll be that awkwardness at first, but the trail should bond us pretty fast. Don't know if it'll be quite as fast as it would be on other trails if we weren't having guides, because I think we'll be less dependent on each other, and I don't think that will translate to that close bond happening as much. But we're all here for the same reasons. We're all here to do a hike. Mount Whitney is the the gem there, the diamond that we're looking to do, and we all have obviously similar interests, the hiking and that camaraderie that should come with having that same like-mindedness in terms of going out and hiking, and that hobby, I guess I should say. So that's it. A lot of the thoughts are going through my mind. Am I up to the challenge? Am I physically able to do it? Will my body rise to the occasion? How bad will the altitude be for me in terms of fatigue or that sluggishness? Other than that, looking forward very much to the physicality of it. This is unlike anything I've ever done before. Obviously, I've never hiked out west really like this. I've never gone in a large group on a guided trip. And that may be a plus, because I know that they'll spur me on. When I see other people doing it, that brings out a competitiveness and a drive to obviously do just as good as everyone else, and also not to fail and not to look bad. A lot of thoughts going through my mind about the future. So as I'm about to embark on this endeavor, I'm full of hope and excitement and looking forward to this trip immensely. I know and I feel and I hope that I will come back, even if briefly, somewhat changed, with a greater skill set, greater knowledge, and greater confidence of hiking and myself in knowing that I can do things. You know, as we constantly say, and every time you go hiking, every mountain, every time I've got a hike, barring an injury, I've been able to do the hike. The hike is not the problem. It's the physical, obviously, and the mental. And I think the mental is much more than the physical. So I'll check back in when we gather. Well, it's about 8:30. I just went for a slight walk around the neighborhood, about 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes, just to get out and stretch a little bit, do a little activity. I figure I'm going to spend a lot of time probably sitting and not so much activity today. But of course, that's the calm before the storm over the next couple of days. Just passing time, waiting. Probably around 11:30 or so, 12, I'll probably go get maybe a sub sandwich to take with me. The first night, it's I guess dinner on your own. You bring up your food. So I'll grab a lunch that I can pack up with me and take and eat later tonight at the trailhead. And then tomorrow, obviously, we'll stop our hike. Made arrangements. I'm going to be able to leave my bag here at the hotel, which is a much better option. And I'm just now standing by to stand by, as I say frequently at work. Just waiting for time to pass so that we can begin our hike. So I went out on the trail this morning to take a small little walk. I'm passing time. I don't want to sit in the room and just watch TV, just waiting for it. And I walked down the trail and I came to this board which keeps track of how many people have used the trail today and for the year some to date. And there's a little electronic eye, I guess, up the trail that as you walk past, it logs your passage. And I just think that is, what a great idea and incredible. So today it shows 37 walkers. It's probably me walking by about 3 or 4 times, but I'm gonna walk by again. And I just think that's a great idea. As you can see, I just logged me walking past, up and back, and now it shows 39 people. I'm gonna have to walk back the other way back to my hotel, so it's gonna go up to 40. But what a great idea for your community and even for a trail to keep track accurately, quasi-accurately, of how many people have walked past. I know it's just static. You don't know how many people are really using the trail, but I just think it's a great idea. And it shows people, and sometimes even the decision makers, how much a trail is really getting used. Well, I'm walking along the trail again that I was on. I went the other way. Yesterday I went south. Today I decided to go north. It's more, it's not built up. It seems more residential. But I'm amazed behind me are these magnificent redwood trees that are planted right along the trail here. And they're in downtown Clovis, Old Town. And just very interesting, the texture of the bark. I've never seen a tree the bark is so rough and a beautiful color. I don't know if the video does it justice to how rough it is, and but it's magnificent. This one's a little more overgrown with little sprouts and coming off of the bark all up and down it. But I mean, it is truly, and these are not big redwoods, but it's coming from the East Coast. This is truly a magnificent tree, in my opinion. I'm fascinated because it's so different than what I'm used to seeing. Well, it's just after 9 o'clock. I made it back to my hotel room. I went out for a little walk. I did probably around a mile or so. I did run into someone from the group on my way back. And yesterday I went to the south, which seems to be more the downtown area. It's definitely more built up. there's a lot more hotels and stores that way, and it was like a commercial area. So today I decided to go to the north a little bit, and I only did about a half mile, and then I turned around and came back. And it definitely is a little bit more, not as built up, although there's a big construction project going on there. It looks like a municipal project. I think it's a library and some sort of transportation center or a bus station, train station, something like that. I couldn't see the sign very well. It was kind of overgrown, but there are workmen on it, and part of the pathway is blocked, and you have to walk around it. But what amazed me the most is there's redwood trees there, coastal redwoods, or California redwoods as they're called, which I know are quite special, that they're only in this area along the coast. So I did some research, obviously looked them up as I do, because I wouldn't know what they were. I had to look them up online, and I discovered that they're a very long living tree, one of the oldest trees, as well as the tallest tree on the earth. And they have this incredible bark. It's like rough hewn bark, almost like shredded. I can't explain it, but it's a beautiful color. And first time encountering it, I gotta say, I like those trees. They're quite beautiful. I had no idea that they were the tallest tree on earth. They reach, well over 300 feet. So I can only imagine like a redwood forest, how beautiful that would be. So it was worth the trip for me for that reason. And I came back, and I'm passing time. Really just watching the clock at this point, waiting and anxious to start this adventure. It's about 4:45 now. We arrived at camp about 4:15, unloaded the vehicles, and dispersed to set up our camps and our tents. This is going to be my spot for the night, and I'm just finishing setting up right now. So I have my tent set up, and behind me I have just my my sleeping pad is inside there. I'm showing we're about 7,500 feet up. It's actually beautiful up here. Temperature is nice, and there's a slight breeze, so I'm enjoying it. And this is the view outside. You can see the parking lot. There's a couple of vehicles here. There's some other people here, and this is the campsite. You can see everyone else is setting up, all spread out. We're all kind of spread out at different areas. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a slope to my site, but I'll use that for my head, and hopefully I'll stay upright and I won't end up in the corner of my bag and the tent later on at night. Check back in again later. So here's our campsite for the night. There's Chris, Ali, and everybody still setting up. Well, good evening. It's the end of day one. It's almost 10 o'clock. We're at about 7,800 feet. My watch says 7,900. My GPS is actually 7,909. So, could be a little differences in locality, as well as the fact that 7,800 might be the parking lot, and I'm a little bit higher. It's absolutely beautiful out here. Sun went down. We had a little gathering, went over some stuff. Everybody introduced themselves again, and then we had a campfire, and there was marshmallows involved. I did not partake, but there was some roasting of marshmallows, but no graham crackers or chocolate, so maybe put that on the list for the next time. It gets messy though. So everyone talked for a little while, and then slowly everyone started peeling off. I took some photos of the sky. It's actually beautiful out here. There's no light pollution, so the sky is just beautiful with stars. Also saw what I believe is 2 different satellites going across the sky. They were moving way too fast to be an aircraft, and they didn't have any navigation lights or anything like that. So that's it. It's been a good night. The temperature's definitely dropped here. It's gotten a little colder, so it's definitely chilly. I have a jacket on, as you can see, my fleece, and it's comfortable with that on, but it's definitely, there's a chill in the air. I'm sure it's going to drop down another 10 or 15 degrees as the night goes on. Supposedly we're going to get an early start tomorrow. As soon as the sun comes up, we'll pack up, we'll have breakfast, and then we'll start hiking. So looking forward to that. There is going to be a climb and then descent and then another climb again. So we'll end up working and then coming back down and then working back up again. I believe we end up a little bit higher than where we started today in altitude, closer to, I think, 9,000 feet, he said, but I could be wrong on that. Anyway, it's been a great day. Beautiful views driving up here. Definitely a rocky ride at the end and certain portions of it. But other than that, so far so good. I think the group's great. There's a lot of people with experience in this group. So there's a couple of newer hikers, but most people have some experience or a lot of experience. So I think overall it's a good group. It's a full group. So I think there's 11 of us and 3 guides. So there's 14 of us total. So it'll be interesting to see what unfolds in about 11 miles tomorrow. So that's going to be it for day 1 of the TSX challenge. I'll see you all in the morning. Have a good night.